Greetings, comrades. I'm Jenny, and welcome to Modern Socialist. Today's video is Boris Johnson's craziest lies. But first, if you're liking this video, please like and subscribe and help get our message heard. So, we know about some of Boris Johnson's daftest lies about the EU, such as the ban on bendy bananas. Has anyone actually even seen a straight banana? Or how about the one about how British fishmongers must pack their smoked kippers on ice pillows, when that law is a purely British one, and the fishmonger affected was from the Isle of Man, which is actually outside the European Union. Also, what about the ban on the Great British Banger? Well, that's utter BS too. We can still buy the pink sausages that Boris claims the EU has banned us from eating. And does anyone really think that the Germans would stop eating their bratwursts either? No, I don't neither. Oh, bozo, and to think we used to laugh at your naked populism. Johnson's most insidious lie must, of course, be the one that was emblazoned on the side of a red bus during the 2016 EU referendum. That had the whopping lie of £350 million a week will be spent on the NHS from the savings when we leave the European Union. Talking of buses, another of his dumb, thoughtless lies came out in an interview when a journalist asked him what he liked to do in his spare time. And the first blustering cow crap that came out of his mouth was he liked to build model buses out of empty wine boxes. You couldn't make it up, but obviously Boris could. And because the mainstream media are happy to lap up lies like these, he now thinks we're as stupid and gullible as they are. While an irresponsible journalist at the Daily Telegraph, the right-wing Daily Telegraph of course, Johnson fabricated a quote from his own godfather, Colin Lucas, when he claimed that King Edward II cavorted with his lover Piers Gaveston in the Rose Palace, only for it to emerge later that Gaveston was murdered long before the palace had even been built. But instead of admitting his lie, Johnson continued to dig his ditch and merely claimed that the mystery had deepened. For this, he was sacked. But as an entitled rich white man, he simply failed upwards and moved on to another better paid job. One of his more despicable lies was when he denied having an affair with Petronella Wyatt, a journalist at the Spectator magazine while he was editor. While progressives generally have no interest in the private lives of politicians, this case points to his lack of suitability for public office. Johnson claimed that news of the affair was complete balderdash, while Ms. Wyatt was forced to have an abortion once she realised that he wasn't going to marry her as he had promised. This is just one of many cases in which Johnson shows he has no respect for women and is happy to ruin their lives for his own personal pleasures. While on the subject of his wives, I should mention his last wife, Marina Wheeler, who Johnson left for his new arm candy, Carrie Simons. This sexist pig likes to claim that their separation was mutual and that they felt that they had grown apart from each other. In actual fact, Johnson had decided it was time to move on to a younger model, while Marina was in treatment for cervical cancer. It is hard to think of anything more despicable than dumping the mother of your children while she is having to fight for her life. But that's how awful and self-obsessed Johnson is, and such behaviour explains why even his own children don't want to know him. In 2016, Johnson couldn't help telling a bold racist lie to ingratiate himself with the reality TV star and future US President, one Donald J. Trump. He made up a story about Barack Obama removing a bust of Winston Churchill from the Oval Office, claiming that Obama did it because of his ancestral dislike of the British Empire. Without ever correcting himself, it turned out that Obama had actually moved the bust to a more prominent place in his office. In 2004, before eventually sacking Johnson for lying about an affair, failed Tory leader Michael Howard made Johnson apologise for a different lie, when he accused Liverpudlians of wallowing in self-pity because they refused to accept that it was their own fans who had caused the deaths in the crushing at the cages at Hillsborough. This trolling of the First Order was too much even for the Tory leadership, since even though the Tories will never win a seat on Merseyside, the obnoxious lack of sensitivity coming out of Johnson's mouth was damaging to the electoral prospects of the Tory party in other parts of the country, as it acted to reinforce their nasty party image in the eyes of the voting public. These are just some of the lowlights of Johnson's lifetime of professional dishonesty. He has made a career from his casual relationship with the truth, and there are many more of his lies to be found with just a simple, quick search on the internet. To compile all of Boris's lies would require filling several doorstep-sized volumes, so I'm not going to do it for you. I just leave you to consider if you think he is fit to be Prime Minister of this country, and hopefully you don't think it's okay for him to be a liar as long as he is your liar. So, comrades, all I ask you is, get the Tories out now. Right. What's your personal favourite Boris Johnson lie? Tell me down in the comments below and I'll have a read. If you enjoyed my video, give me a like, subscribe, ring the bell to get notified for when I release further content. And I hope you enjoyed my video. So long, comrades.